Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Review Any Tech. So today we are going to discuss 8 reasons why it's worth to buy a Mac or 8 reasons why you should switch to a Mac. Now, the first reason is the design. Nothing beats Apple's design, and from the very first Mac they designed up to today, with a few exceptions, they usually built beautiful devices that are functional. I personally have a 2016 MacBook Pro, and it is still lovely in 2017, considering that 3 other models have come along, and they are just beautiful. And many other designers are trying to catch up, but they can't. It just is best. They are trying to build something similar to this just in order to be the next best in the market. Now, aside from the design, the number two is the quality of the material. Now, we have had this unibody aluminum design for a while, and the quality is great considering that I have dropped this laptop more than a few times and I don't see a single scratch on it, no damage whatsoever. And also, the material used, it's premium, and you're paying for it anyway, but it's worth the price. Recently, some other developers such as HP and Microsoft themselves are trying to use the same type of material, but Apple has been using them for a while. Number three is what you get out of the box when you buy a Mac is way more useful and much more than what you get out of the box with any other machine. When you buy a Windows computer per se, usually you have a lot of stuff that you don't need, stuff that slow you down and all that. However, when you buy a Mac, it's ready for you to do a lot. Let's give you an example. For example, we have the pages already installed, equivalent to Microsoft Word for Office. We have Numbers equivalent to Excel, Keynote equivalent to PowerPoint, which these come with the computer. You don't need to go buy an external license for them. You have it the day you open that wrapping of the laptop. Then you have the calendar, which is much more functional than any other calendar I have seen, and a lot more, which I can go into detail, but for example, uh, let's take a look. Now, this is the other folder for Mac. This is basically anything other than the apps that are there, and you can see how much diversity there is. You can even graph from the day you buy this computer. I don't think any Windows computer is capable of graphing right out of the box. Now, I'm warning you that this video is a bit on the side of the MacBook, is not completely without bias, but honestly, look at it. You have all these stuff, even a dictionary, without even installing a single piece of software. Also, Safari comes with it. Safari is not an equivalent to Internet Explorer. It's 10 times faster than Internet Explorer, so you get that as well. You can't install that on a Windows. You can, but it's an old version of it, so it's old. Other than that, the next one, number four, is the Apple's ecosystem. So it makes more sense for you to buy a Mac if you own an iPad, an iPhone, an iPod, or anything of that sort, because these devices work with the Mac much more smoothly. For example, everyone complains about how hard it is to sync music to an iPad or an iPhone. With Mac, it's the easiest thing in the world. All you need to do is, once the music is in your computer, click open. It opens automatically with iTunes, and it syncs to each and every device that is syncable with this computer. Simple as that. Also, when I type a note in my phone, it appears on my laptop. Right now I'm reading the notes that I'm reading to you guys off my phone, and as you can see, my laptop is telling me that it can open the notes right here, right now, using the continuity feature that Apple offers in all their devices these days, which is fantastic. Now, number five is kind of similar to number four, and it's the ease of use. MacBooks are designed to be easy to use. They are easy because they are intuitive. For example, if I let's say open Keynote, you can see that once we get a new document and try to use it, everything is laid out here in a format that you can understand and um, easily work with, which is much more easier than any other possible system I worked with in the past, in fact. And it's just, some people even say that it's made for dummies just because of how easy it works. But um, it is a nice system, and the best part is you will never, at least for the most part, see that updating Windows. Please do not turn off your PC, or just hang the system waiting for response again if you buy a Mac. Um, it might not have as much capabilities as a Windows machine, but it is optimized, and that's good. For example, this computer right now is not the strongest. It has a Core i5. However, I am capable of editing this very long video and without any issues, just because it is optimized. The hardware and the software are built for each other. And that's something that is worth these days, because if your time matters to you, this is the way to go. Next one is the value. Now, MacBooks hold their values throughout the years. By that I mean, if you buy a Windows computer and 2 years later, that computer, which per se it was $1,000, you can sell it for around 300 or something like that. Whereas a MacBook can hold its value to up to $800 if it's functioning properly, because of the quality of the material and the fact that it's a Mac. So that's one thing to keep in mind if you want to buy something that holds up its value, and once you rip that tag, you don't just make the value to be half what it was before, Macs are a good option. Now, one thing that many people always say, this is number 7, is that they can't just leave Windows because of how much softwares are Windows only, and we can't just leave it altogether, and Apple knows that. Therefore, they designed the system so that it offers the best of both worlds for you. You can't really install Mac OS on a Windows computer unless you do it illegally. However, Mac allows you to install Windows on a Mac and dual boot it using Boot Camp Assistant, which is here. It basically allows you to choose the size of the driver, and for example, this computer has a 500 gigabyte SSD. I can say give 250 gigabytes of it to Windows, install Windows 10, and I should probably buy a product key from Microsoft. And once I do, I have Windows on a Mac, and all the drivers will be installed by Boot Camp from Apple, and you will have a functioning Windows machine. However, if you are a heavy Windows user, I don't recommend that, because any dual boot machine is not as well as a single boot machine. So if Windows is your thing, buy a Windows. But if you want the best of both worlds, MacBooks are great. So that's with that. Then last one is Apple's support system. Now, depending on where you live in what country, depending on whether there is an Apple store nearby or not, you might have a different experience. But if you live in a large city like Toronto, New York, Los Angeles, or anywhere in the world that has an Apple store nearby, you can always take your MacBook to them and they will fix it for you for a reasonable price. I have Apple Care on this device, so it's gonna be free. So that, and also you can get over the phone support if they need to help you figure out something. They can always do screen sharing, and they tell you where to click and all that. Now, I don't know any other company that does that. Microsoft does it to a bit, but Apple has always been the leader in this system. They have done it with their iPhones, iPads, iPods, MacBooks, everything. So yeah, those are the 8 reasons why it's worth it to buy a Mac. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more, please subscribe, and see you later. Peace.